The homeless problem. I don't know of a single homeless Haitian in this town because they all got vouchers. But I can show you a whole bunch of people that have been displaced, and I'll testify under oath, my hand to God, somebody that lost their house. They were there 7 years. The landlord said, hey, I need you to move out, find a temporary place. I'm going to remodel it, and then you can come back.
Thank you, Baron.
It was a lie. They moved them out, tripled the rent.
Thank you.
Follow
Thank you for speaking.
the money.
The chaos unfolding in Springfield, Ohio, and other towns across the United States is a direct result of our federal government's negligence. This isn't about blaming the immigrants themselves, but about the system that enables this exploitation. The government is handing them a golden opportunity while hardworking Americans are being left behind.
Everyone is talking about the death of ducks and cats in this town, but I'd like to talk about the death of one very special person, my mother-in-law, Kathy Heen. On December 1st, I received a phone call that changed my life forever. She was collecting her trash can from her driveway when a car struck and killed her instantly. A task she had done over 2,000 times, spanning 4 decades in Springfield. That morning, though, a Haitian immigrant was allegedly driving recklessly when he struck and killed her. I say allegedly because to this day, there's been no punishment, not even for the expired tags on the vehicle he was driving.
Take the Haitians coming here. They're fleeing absolute hell. Cities like Cap Haitian and Port-au-Prince are drowning in garbage with piles of trash that reach 7 feet high, clogging the streets and markets. Vendors sell food near piles of rotting waste and flies cover everything. People walk through contaminated water and desperate Haitians eat pets like cats. These are the conditions they're running from, so of course some of them work hard when they arrive here. They don't have the luxury of choice. They're running from death and squalor. Now, at McGregor Metal in Springfield, CEO Jamie McGregor is thrilled that his Haitian workers are reliable. They come to work every day, achieve their numbers, and are here to work, he says.
He heard that housing was cheap and jobs were plentiful.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
These might be the best workers out of the bunch, but let's not pretend this doesn't have serious consequences for the American worker. Haitian illegals are being used to suppress wages, plain and simple. You're bringing in cheap labor from desperate people who work under conditions most Americans wouldn't tolerate based on the pay. Let's get something straight. If you took a literal slave from the 1860s and put them in the same conditions, they'd work their ass off too. Does that make it right? Is this how we justify illegal immigration because the workers are on time and work hard? Great. I respect their work ethic, but when are we going to talk about how wages are being suppressed across the board? When are we going to acknowledge the fact that one man used to be able to work a job, buy a house, take his family on vacation every year while his wife was the homemaker, and live the American dream? That dream is dead because wages are tanking and no one in power wants to talk about it. Actually, the American dream isn't dead. It's just outsourced. The American dream is alive and well. If you dream of living paycheck to paycheck. The real scandal here is the Democratic Party and their corporate allies. They've turned into the American Party of slavery, exploiting immigrant labor to keep wages low while lining their own pockets. They're doing exactly what plantation owners did in the past, bringing in cheap labor, crushing the American worker, and pretending it's all for the greater good. It's disgusting. The Democrats used to pretend to stand for the working man. Now they stand on the working man while waving a rainbow flag, yelling progress. This is how leftists became the party of slavery in America. Notice who pro-labor leftists have no problem with this. The labor unions support it. Let's name a couple. the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organizations, and the Service Employees International Union. These unions are supposed to be for the workers. If you're for the workers, you can't be for increasing the supply of workers in the marketplace. It's simple economics, but they aren't stopping there. Unions representing over 19 million workers have lined up in support of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, 19 million American workers supporting their own economic demise by backing the very policies that are flooding the market with cheap labor and suppressing wages. Kamala Harris says she's fighting for the workers. Yeah, like how a boxer fights for the punching bag. And don't think for a second that this system is sustainable. You can import a new generation of desperate workers, but what happens down the line? These immigrants exploited for their labor will end up just like the American workers who came before them, drug addicted and hopeless. They're the next generation of fentanyl zombies because we're importing labor to avoid dealing with the real problems in our society. It's not about just having hardworking immigrants here. It's about the broken system we refuse to fix. They say fentanyl addiction is a crisis. No, the real crisis is finding a job where the salary doesn't make you want to try fentanyl. Let's go further. Maybe we should implement an initiative where they're shipped over by boat. After millions arrive, wages will be driven down to $0 an hour and they'd still work. We could even auction them off to the highest bidder and compensate them with room and board. It could be called the Chains for Change program. That's where we're headed if this continues, and everyone knows it. In previous generations, immigrants from Ireland, Italy, Jamaica, Poland, and Germany came to America and worked their way up from nothing. They weren't handed welfare, free housing, or magic cards with bottomless pits of taxpayer money.
Would you like to know what the Haitians are calling the food assistance cards? Or
Tell me.
Even the cash assistance cards. They're calling them the magic money cards because they never run out. These people have jobs, like factory jobs, making $20, $30 an hour and still receiving food and cash assistance from the government. I can't even make over a certain amount a month. Or they take my assistance. I don't even have assistance right now because I keep getting denied. I'm homeless. I'm jobless. I'm sleeping on friends' couches because I can't get government assistance because I come from the wrong country, apparently.
United States.
Yeah. I worked retail before I lost my job back in April. When I do transactions, I can see what comes across on certain cards. I'm not trying to be nosy. I don't want to know what you get. But when a Haitian comes through and spends $500 in food stamps and still has $5,000 on their food assistance card.
$5,000?
$5,000. The landlord told my mother to her face, you're going to find troubles getting a landlord to rent to you because the government is giving landlords $800 a head to rent to the Haitians.
Why?
To give them places to live. It's like I said, the government's more worried about bringing in Haitians to live here than they are to take care of their own citizens. Okay. We have veterans, people who went and put their lives at risk for us, sleeping on the streets because the Haitians are more important.
What do you think should be done?
Whole ass priority change. Our government is prioritizing the wrong country. Like, I get the U.S. was built on immigration, but that was legal immigration after a while. Like, once everything was regulated, and I have nothing against immigration. I really don't. If you want to go someplace to try and build a better life for yourself, do that. But for our government to totally throw aside national citizens, people that was born and raised here, that's, this is our country, it's our government, and they're treating us like we're the trash.
But today, these new waves of immigrants are being given government support from the moment they arrive. The federal government is pouring taxpayer money into their housing, transportation, and even accidents they might get into. How is that fair? How can anyone look at this and not see a rigged system? Look at Springfield, where the population has exploded by over 20% in just 4 years, mostly due to immigration. Local schools, hospitals, and public services are completely overwhelmed. Even J.D. Vance, the GOP vice presidential candidate, has called out how these Haitian immigrants are draining social services and causing chaos. He's right. This is happening all over the country, and it's only getting worse. But let's not pretend it's just about the good immigrants who are here to work. Many of them are bringing trouble, and they're coming into a society already collapsing under the weight of drug addiction and economic despair. Forget health insurance. Pretty soon your job will be offering fentanyl zombie benefits to help you blend in with the workforce. Yes, American workers are becoming fentanyl zombies. No one should take responsibility for that more than Americans themselves, but that doesn't mean the system is one we should be proud of. The system is clearly failing us, and now the government is importing a new workforce to repeat the same cycle. The elites love this setup because it keeps them in power while everyday Americans suffer. In the end, the federal government is responsible for this mess, not the immigrants themselves. They're just doing what they need to survive. But the government's refusal to address the collapse of our economy, the suppression of wages, and the destruction of the American dream is the real crime here. The problem isn't that immigrants are working hard. It's that they're being used as tools to avoid fixing the real issues tearing our country apart.
Middle MAGA.